Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now I'm going to talk about what we consume, what we eat. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the worst container man fills, the worst container, the worst receptacle man fills is his stomach. The worst to fill is his stomach. He said, it's enough for man few morsels just to keep himself going. If he has to, listen to this prophetic instruction, perfect medical instruction. If you have to, well, you can't afford but to eat. Make sure, divide your stomach into 3 portions. One for your solid food, 1 portion of your stomach for solid food, and the second portion for beverages, fluids, and the third for breathing, for the air. You know, I mean, if a person really observes these prophetic instructions, you know, he would hardly fall sick. 1/3 of the stomach for solid food, 1/3 for beverages, and 1 for breathing. Because sometimes, you know, you eat too much, you can hardly breathe. See, this is the point what the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention, instructing us. You know, because some people actually live to eat. Really, they live to eat. Where others, they eat to live. And a Muslim should be from the others. And the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah exalt his mention, you know, he hardly, you know, had his fill. Although the food would be available, and yet he would not have his fill. He would eat just barely enough to keep him going. And one time, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Umar ibn Khattab met on the road, you know, at noon. And the Prophet ﷺ told them, what made you go out in this hot hour? They said, oh Rasulullah, we had nothing to eat at home. He said, by Allah, nothing drove me out of my home except the same thing. I had nothing to eat at home. So he took them actually to one of his companions who killed the lamb for them and roasted it. And while they were eating, the Prophet ﷺ said, Umar, you shall be questioned. Not Umar on his own, you know, I mean all of them. You shall be questioned about the food that you have eaten now. He said, oh Rasulullah, you know, eating food, Allah is going to question us about that food. He said, yes, certainly. Because Allah says in the Quran, ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. You shall be questioned about every pleasure Allah gave you in this world. And of course, when you have nothing to eat, and you went out, and now you found somebody who killed a lamb for you, this is pleasure. This is something that is you know, I mean a fortune, in other words. And Allah is going to ask you about this. What did you do about it? You know, you ate the meat, and did you have stronger, you know, better energy in order to worship Allah in a better manner, and so on and so forth. Why? Because on the day of resurrection, Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala is going to question us about everything He has given us. Everything. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Man shall be questioned about every grace and favor Allah gave him on the day of resurrection. You got your wife, that's a grace from Allah. You shall be questioned about her. Did you look after her in a way that you should? Did you teach her what you have learned? Children are a grace from Allah. What did you do about them? Did you teach them in order to grow, that they would grow good Muslims or not? You know, I mean wealth. Allah gave wealth. What did you do with it? Did you, make charitable contributions for the advancement of the case of the cause of Allah or not? You just have to keep that in your mind, brothers and sisters. Whatever we have, it's a grace from Allah. Thank you.